Hi everybody, my name's Adam and I work for Rocket WP. Thanks for joining us on what hopefully will become a new series of regular webinars aimed at WordPress plugins and generally based on, a series of webinars basically aimed at developers, agencies, and enthusiasts. As you can tell, this is my first webinar that I've hosted, so please bear with me. A little bit of patience and understanding would be great. Just waiting for the final few people to turn up. We'll give them a couple of minutes to see if they can make it in time. Okay, couple of things before we get started. Firstly, the document that you got in the email when you registered, you will need to refer to that. Basically, it's got the commands that we're going to be executing, so it's nice and easy just to copy and paste them over. If you're on a Mac, use the terminal to SSH to the server. If you're on a Windows, as per the document, download the PuTTY, P-U-T-T-Y client to enable you to connect. Just makes it easier to copy and paste commands. There is a console in the Vultur VPS that we recommend you use, but it doesn't support copy and paste. On the subject of Vultur, the link in the email that I sent you will give you a free $20 voucher to use online, which is enough for one of the more basic servers, get you through a couple of weeks of using the one we recommend you use. Do want to let you know that at the same time that it gives you $20, it gives us $30. Which is good for us because it means that we can power up and use servers purely for the training and the webinars that we provide. We won't give them or use it for anything else. It's only a limited time offer. Anyway, okay, last couple of stragglers have turned up. Thanks for joining us. Okay, one last thing. On your screen you will see the little chat window. If you do have any queries while we're going along, just drop them in now. I will try and answer them as I go along, but if not, we'll have a Q&A session at the end where I'll answer some more and any that we've missed. Also, if you do need to leave at any point, not a problem. Once it's over, we will make a recording available. Okay. Once you've created your Vultur account, if you want to log in, sorry, we've started. And what you want to do is you want to click this blue button at the top to deploy a new server. Okay, we're going for London. Server type is 64-bit and we're going through Ubuntu. Ubuntu version 14. And we're going to go for the 40 gig a $40 a month service. Sorry, yes. Didn't go for Ubuntu 16. Going through Ubuntu 14. That's because at the moment Plesk 12.5, which is the current version, doesn't support anything above version 14. The installer, when it runs, will check for the version of Ubuntu. So if you are running a newer version, the auto installer won't run. So Ubuntu 14, yes, it does support CentOS and it supports Cloud Linux and Windows. We're only going to be covering the Ubuntu option. Okay, so we've selected the server. We're not going to enable any additional features. We may do in a later webinar, especially things like private networking, but for the point of this exercise, which is to get you a basic server which is easily manageable in terms of domains, emails, and WordPress itself in terms of a development machine, that's more than enough. Let's give it a host name, plesk101.onrocketit.uk. You can obviously give yours any domain name you like. Okay, and then we're going to click deploy now. These VPS providers such as DigitalOcean and Vultur are what's known as unmanaged VPS providers. There's no management provided by them. People like Liquid Web will do managed VPSs, but this is something that you need to manage and look after yourself. And the way that Plesk runs and operates means that you only really need to run the update command on the server itself once a week to get some updates. The majority of it is looked after from within Plesk itself, and we'll show you that if we get time to get through that. Okay, refreshing. We're still installing at the moment. We're getting close. Got an IP address. We're basically waiting for it to come up and say manage. So if you've got any queries about setting up VPSs or anything else, yes, you can do a lot more with these. These days, these VPSs power up really quickly. You can do things like snapshots, so that if you've built a server in a particular way, you can create a snapshot and build from snapshots. You can upload your own ISOs. Startup scripts are ones where you could, in theory, add the scripts that we're going to use into a startup script. So the moment you powered up the server and selected that as a startup script, it would automatically run that. Okay, our server's up and running. We've got manage. So we're going to open up the management part, and we're going to click down here where it says password to reveal the password. Now, as you can see, it does generate long passwords. Okay, so we're going to copy that password, and we do now need to open up our terminal, and we need to SSH. So in a Mac, you SSH root at, and then the IP, 45, in my case 63.99.196. If you're on a PC, open up the PUTTY, the PuTTY client, just put in the IP address and click OK. There's no need to type in the other commands. On a Mac, you get the command about the authenticity. On Windows, you'll get a pop-up asking you to confirm. Select yes on a PC. On a Mac, just type the word yes, and you'll be logged in. Just need to put in your password. Okay, so we are now logged into our server. If you go to the document that I sent you over, you'll notice that I am taking out the HTTPS. It's only because when I ran this earlier on today, I actually got an error to do with their certificate. So I found a workaround for the time being, which is just take out the SSL. We're going to right click, we're going to paste this in. Basically, this is going to download the one-click installer from Plesk's website, and then it's going to download and run everything that you need. It's going to install Plesk itself, it's going to install PHP, it's going to install MySQL, it's going to install Apache, Nginx, email server, basically everything that you need to run this as a hosting server. You could run this for a customer's live site. Yeah, there's no reason why you can't. Okay, this is going to take about 5 or so minutes to run through. I'm just gonna pause the turn off the microphone for a moment. Okay, so that's all running through. The keen-eyed amongst you will probably notice that there's another error that happens with this startup script, which is the bind9, which is the DNS service. Doesn't start. It's to do with AppArmor on the server. There's a couple of commands that will be in that document that I sent you, whereby we're going to issue them, and that will enable bind9 to start. yeah, it does take a little time to run through, but like I tried to say before, it is doing quite a bit of, of work. It's, there's a lot riding on, a lot being installed, and so like I say, it will take quite a few minutes to run through. Sorry, someone's just asked if you could run this on any VPS provider. Yes, you can. You can also install this on a dedicated server using the same command. You would obviously have to install the operating system first of all from an ISO or CD, and you can also run this on your own desktop machine or PC, laptop, using um, virtual PC or any of the other virtual desktop software. So yes, you can run a development machine in your office rather than on a VPS. The only reason I've suggested a VPS is because it enables you to give access to your clients, so they can actually see the development work that's going on, and doesn't mean that you could end up, with a machine in your office crawling because you've got clients going to it and clients playing around with it. So it's quite nice just to have something a little bit separate. So where are we up to? We're installing Hold, which is to do with email. SQLite, Dr. Web, PHP. As you can see, a lot goes into this. Wouldn't really want to have to install all of this manually. Used to, but now with these one-click installs or one command line installs and scripting, it means that the process still takes a little while, but it's more a case of just sitting and watching it run through rather than having to execute loads of commands yourself. Okay, as you can see, this is the bit where the bind 9 service fails. It won't start and it won't stop. Like I said, that's to do with AppArmor, and the commands over here, these ones here, will enable us to run that. I would imagine this has got about another 2 minutes to run through. I'm not sure if anybody else has finished yet. Be interesting to see if you're on a different provider. Okay, a couple of people are coming back and saying it has run through and finished. Lucky you. You'll just have to sit and wait for the rest of us to catch up, unfortunately. Yeah, someone's just asked me, obviously on my servers, there are servers listed here. Yes, we have a few, well, 2 clients listed on it. They are development machines, they're not their live systems. Okay, Pro FTP installed and almost started. This is one of the joys of working with servers. Take a little while to build. Okay, I've got a couple more people saying that their machines are finished. No, we're not going to cover Windows on this session. If you'd like a Windows one, email in. If we get enough people asking for Windows, then we will do a Windows setup. But primarily, we're an Ubuntu-based services company, so that'll be what we're doing. Okay, we've got the main part of the installations done. It's now downloading some micro updates, some small upgrades, just to bring us up to the latest 12.5. I think the latest update it's going to install to is 44. Okay. Yeah, Dan. So I'm not sure on that question. If you want to bring that up at the end, once the rest of this is finished, we can certainly take a look at that. Yes, we will be setting up secure SSH, FTP, and everything else. Like I say, we do like to make sure these servers are secured. Rather than doing it on the actual console, though, we're going to be doing it through Plesk's inbuilt management tools. They make it easier. It's click and well, it's basically clicks, mouse clicks, rather than having to issue commands. It seems to be getting longer and longer every single time I run one of these. I think it says they download the updates, they can't be updating the actual installer. So we're up to MU38. I think it goes to 44 is the latest one. Excellent. We're now done. Okay, we can now log out of the session. Quit iTerm if you've got it open. I'll just close the other one. Okay, you will need your IP and the password again. So we're going to copy the password. Sorry, copy the IP address first of all. And we're going to go to https:// the IP address : 8443. Accept the certificate and continue. We do need to copy the password again. And we'll now start the Plesk or the GUI part of the installation. Initial login is root plus the root password. Obviously, we never want to remember the password. Standard end user license agreement. Don't show it again. Agree. Click accept. Now, for most of us, I would imagine we're going to go for web designers, commercial web hosting, and I suppose there may be a couple of corporate business users out there. So click on web designers. It doesn't make a huge amount of difference. Okay, you now get the option of 2 views. I personally would go for the service provider view. gives you the best insight into what we're doing. Click OK. You can change that interface once you've fully loaded the system. Okay, all of this information needs to be filled in. So default IP address is shared so that all of the hosting plans can use them, and this is where you need to set the default administrator password. So when you next log in, rather than using the root username and password, you can use admin. Select a strong password. Click OK. It's then going to want information about your company. Okay, so we're just going to call this Rocket WP. Put in your email address, phone number, email. Yes, I have noticed. Thank you. Yeah, it's your name, not your email address. Email there, and then office or home address. Okay, I don't want to receive product information. You may want to. Click OK. Okay, the next thing to do is to install a key if you have one. If not, click on the 14-day fully featured trial license. Asks you to fill in a form, as you can see over here, and get a license key. It will send it to you. Once you get it, to install the key, you put in an activation code. Click OK. And it's installed. Now, in theory, you could just start using this straight away, literally by clicking on domains and creating new domains and start hosting. There are a couple of things that we're going to do prior to that, just to make the server a little bit more secure, plus so that you can see what to do if you were to put live client sites on it. Plus, it's on the web, it is a server, you are going to have clients going to it. Let's secure it, should be part of what you do. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is go into add and remove updates. Sorry, we're going to go into updates and upgrades. It does open up a new window. We need to install some additional components. So one of the updates, there's still an update that it needed. Okay. Let's give that a kick. There we go. Okay, add and remove components. So we can see the components that are installed. Green is installed, red with a cross, not installed, blue, part installed. Okay, things we're going to install are the health monitor, fail to ban, and then under web hosting, we're going to install mod security. If you want to install some other options, if you've got specific needs for Perl or Python, there they are. PHP versions, it does install PHP 7, 5.6 and the OS vendor, so i.e. the version that actually comes with Ubuntu version 14. The last couple of options or option we're going to select is the Plesk firewall. Okay, so ones we've selected are the health monitor, fail to ban, mod security and firewall. As you can tell, there's a theme running through there. Click continue to install those components. They'll take a few minutes to run through. Okay, so as you can see, all the operations are completed successfully. Let's click OK. And if we refresh the interface page, you will notice some new options. So we're going to start over with the security side. We're going to click on security policy. A couple of things we're going to turn on is we're only going to allow FTPS connections. We only want security. It's all about security, and at a minimum we want a strong password. So we'll apply those. Click OK. Okay, firewall. Now, at the moment there are no firewall rules enabled. As you can see, this is a list of all the rules that it's going to apply. So we're going to enable the basic rules. This takes a few seconds to activate. Okay, now if you want to modify any of the rules, just click modify. One that you might really want to turn off, bearing in mind that this is just a testing machine, you might want to turn off all the SMTP and IMAP connections because you're not going to be using those. Might want to turn off the ping service. One thing you probably definitely want to change is the SSH, and you want to click on allow from only selected sources. Now if you've got a static IP, great, you can use this, stick it in there. If you haven't, you can't, so you're just going to have to either allow SSH connections in or deny them. And if you're using Vultur or a similar service, they will have a VNC connection to enable you to connect via VNC. For the time being, we're going to allow them, but I would suggest that you disable them or just set them to the IP address of your office. Okay, so back into tools. IP address banning, fail to ban. Fail to ban basically monitors the log files of the different services that are running on a server, and picks up the authentication message. So was it successful? Great, ignores the IP. Was it unsuccessful? It remembers the IP. And as you can see, if it fails more than 3 times on a login, the IP is going to get banned for 600 seconds or 10 minutes. And it's got to be 3 within 10 minutes of each other. I personally upgrade that for 6,000 seconds. If something does get locked out, we'll click apply there. Sorry, we'll go back into settings. We need to enable intrusion protection. Click OK. If you do get your IP or somebody's IP gets locked out, they get listed here in the banned IP address, and you can click on unban. What you can also do is add your own local office IP address to here as well. Okay, jails. Jails are where it looks at for all the log files. We're going to enable them all, with the exception at the moment of mod security, only because we've not set it up. And when we click on switch on, if we have mod security selected, the process will fail, and it will fail to start any of them. So we'll click switch on. There we are. All the selective jails, apart from mod security, are turned on. So let's go back into tools and settings. Let's go down to the web application firewall. At the moment, as you can see, the web application firewall is off. Basically, the web application firewall filters all of the incoming HTTP requests to make sure they're okay. We're going to turn it on. If you really want to muck about with all the settings, you can click on a custom rule set and create your own custom set. You can sign up for subscriptions. Either Atomic or Komodo do a mod security subscription whereby the server goes out daily, weekly or monthly and picks up updates. It's the most up-to-date of the security, but for the majority of servers, mod security basic from Atomic will be okay. Don't go for this one. We tested it and it's right. It really does upset webmail and WordPress. So the Atomic basic mod security is fine. Upgrade the rule sets every day and make it run fast. So again, we're going to click OK. Wait for it to finish. No, it's not to do with the speed of the server. It's to do with what's going on in the background as it sets up these systems. It's one of the reasons why you need to do it right at the beginning rather than once a server's up and running. Once a server's up and running, it has to go through and modify the virtual host files, Nginx configuration files. It's got to download the rules and apply them. So it does take a little while. Okay, it's finished. The only thing we do need to do now is go back into the fail to ban, back into the jails, and we need to activate the Plesk mod security. So switch on. Okay, back into tools and settings. System time, that's the last one. Let's select the right time zone for wherever you are. Obviously we're in London, unless I'm going mad, it's not listed there. There we are, Europe and London. So update system time, click OK. If we go back in, system time should be correct. Fantastic. Okay. So far, what have we done? We've got Ubuntu installed. We've got Plesk installed with the MySQL databases, email functionality, everything we need to start hosting websites. And again, as I've said before, if you're ready to start hosting sites, staging sites for customers, great. What I personally recommend you do now is you set up a null record, a star record, a wildcard record on your domain, so that anything something.yourdomain.com.co.uk goes to this server. That way, when you set up a customer's site for development or as a staging site, you can use the customer's domain.yourdomain.com. So for example, if I was doing one for Dan, your company, Apex, I would be able to set up a staging development website called apex.onrocketit.uk. Just makes it nice and easy. Okay, we have got a little bit of time, so let's go through and we're just going to set up a quick domain. We're going to add a domain. We're going to call it, let's take you down, apex.onrocketit.uk. We're going to create a new subscription, got an IP address. Let's call this customer ABC. Don't want to make it like the domain. Password. Again, you are going to need to know this password. So what you can do is you can click generate and show, and then copy these passwords into something like Dashlane or Password Manager. I'm just whacking one in, as you can see, for ease. Let's just click OK. That's making the necessary adjustments. And there we are. We are ready with apex.onrocketit. Okay, let's have a look. A few things we need to do. First of all, let's update the PHP settings. We don't want to run that. We want to run version 7. Let's run version 7. Click OK. And obviously, what we want to do, we actually want to install WordPress. So there is a nice, easy way to install WordPress. Literally click over here. So WordPress 4.6. If you click the down arrow here, you can choose options why you want to go all the way back to version 3.71 or before. Don't know. You can also do a custom install. But we'll just click to install WordPress. It's going to download the latest version direct from WordPress's repository. Yeah, we're going to come out, get to this WordPress tab in a moment. We'll show you it working. We'll set up one more site in a minute. We'll actually select an older version of WordPress and you can see how that works. No, it's not a replacement for a good security plugin, but it's definitely a place to start. We'll go through that shortly. Okay, we've gone for the custom install by accident, it seems, so we're going to click the license agreement, click next. We're just going to leave it in the default. We're not going to automatically update. I don't believe in automatic updates, I'll tell you why. Maybe later. So again, we're going to call this customer ABC. Again, you can generate and show the password, or you can just type in whatever password you want. Okay, administrator email, that'll be fine. Apex staging, or the client's no. It will set up the database name. Good thing about this is it's in no way related to the site we're doing. It's literally the first one in there. Prefixes, we all know it should be something random underscore. Username, tell the truth for the database. Again, you just want to pick something random. Just hit the keyboard a few times. And again, a random password. You're never going to need that password. And if you do, it's going to be stored in the WP config file. Okay, so we're ready. We've created a username, created an email address, everything else that's ready. Click install. Okay. It's never going to work at the moment because obviously we haven't added added the wildcard record to point everything to this IP address. What we can do, just to show you that it does work, bear with me, sudo nano / private etc hosts. What we can do is we can go in here and we can say 45.63.99.196, which is obviously the IP address of this server, and we've called it apex.onrocket.it.uk. So we will save that, and now we should be able to go to apex.onrocket.it.uk. The problem is now it's got it cached, isn't it? Okay, we'll give it a few minutes and we should be able to go and have a look at it. Okay, one of the things I was going to do though was going to show you this WordPress security option and how it works and how it runs. We'll run it anyway. It's turning around and saying that at the moment that this has run through everything. So we're gonna just check security anyway and see what it's done. Okay. It knows the administrator username. We've not set it to admin, so it does that. We know the prefix of the database is not WP underscore, so it's done that. It set the security of the WP config file. It stopped all directory browsing, so you can't browse through the the uploads directory. The security key are the salts, those random blocks of text in the WP config file. Hidden the version number, and it checked all of the permissions for files and directories. Okay, this is one thing that it doesn't do automatically, because plugins and other stuff might stop working. What I suggest you do before turning that on is actually install the site, install the plugins, get them up and running, get it tested, and then turn it on and see if it works. And I'll also turn it on from within the security plugin that you use and not from there. As you can see, there's nothing to update, so it has just passed the settings. But if we quickly install another one, so let's call it oldwp.onrocket.it.uk, username, customer BCD, generate, click OK. And once that's set up, we're going to again do exactly the same, but from that WordPress drop-down list, we're just going to pick an older version so that you can see how the scan runs and the fact that it does work. So let's go in here, OWP. Again, we're going to look at installing WordPress. The only difference being this time is that from the install, we're going to choose version 4.53. That download version 4.53 and install it. Yes, no, this will pick up WordPress sites that you migrate over. I'll show you that in a moment. Let's just see this one first of all. Get this one installed and ready. Okay, so again, just run through the quick install. Username, customer, CBD, generate, not bother really because I'm not going to be really logging in, prefix tables. Sorry, let's type that again. Didn't think that was going to work somehow. Click install. Sorry. And it was all going so well till then. Oh, fairly well anyway. Oh. Let's forgot those ones again. Right, okay. Let's try install. Oh. That look right? In a minute, I'm going to have to type it into WordPad or something. I'll get it to yes, excellent. We've got there. Okay, so we've run through the same process again, albeit half a dozen times for me to get the username and passwords entered right, and it has installed it. So now, when we go across the WordPress tab, you'll notice that this has come up saying that it needs to update. We can literally do, obviously 2016 also needs updating, so you can literally tick the box and say update, and it will go off and it will update the WordPress installations. Okay, I think it was Joanne who asked about this tool with sites that you import. Yes, this is what this scan is for. If you create a site outside of the auto install, so if you import one or use Backup Buddy or similar to migrate a site across, it won't automatically appear in this list, but this is what the scan is for. The scan will actually go through all of the directories on the server and actually scan for, detect, and then list here any WordPress installations that it finds, and will list them all with the name, the URL, versions, plugins, themes, etc., and give you a chance to upgrade and secure them. Yeah, I still would add sites if you've got. Sorry, Dan was just asking if you use something like iTheme Sync or WP Devs Hub, would you still add staging sites to it? Yes. One of the things we will cover in a later webinar, one I'm working on at the moment, is basically the next stage from this to say, okay, you've now built your development server, you're now ready to do it. You've got a customer who wants a new website done. Oh, sorry, just bear with me one moment. Obviously, the update of these sites have finished, and as you can see down here, it said that it's completed. So you just need to click refresh page. As you can see now, I don't think we need to do with the themes. Sorry, it's done the version of WordPress. If you click on themes, you'll be able to see them. So here it's saying that these are all the themes that are done. Literally, click update, and off it goes. Plugins, yes, you can activate and delete plugins. Again, we'll go through the more advanced features of them. They're not actually covered in this. Sorry, yes, going back to what I was saying about migrating sites. So you've now got an environment ready for your development of customer sites, staging area. What I'll show you in another webinar coming up shortly, I think it's due for in the next couple of weeks. Just keep an eye on the website and on the blog and the schedule, and they will be listed on there. But one of the ones is using our favourite backup tool, etc., which is Backup Buddy. You can actually do things automatically with staging sites and everything else, and we'll show you how to do that. Okay, so what have we covered? Let's have a quick recap of what we've actually covered during this webinar. You now have an Ubuntu server up and running that can be used as a development server for developing customer sites. Also handy. if you want to play around with a new plugin. If, for example, like us, when version 4.6 was coming out, we got a couple of our bigger sites, one with lots of plugins, or the biggest majority of our plugins, we hosted demo sites of them so that we could upload it to the release candidates, and it was the first place we upgraded on the day that 4.6 came out, so that we could be assured that before upgrading all of the sites, we weren't gonna end up causing ourselves a massive headache by having to do a whole load of restores. So it does come in really handy. With the license, it works out that it's going to cost you between £40 and £50 a month. So it's not a huge amount of money for the benefits that you'll get from it. It's not managed, this service, hence why it's only $40 a month. I think the license for Web Pro, which enables you to host up to 300 sites, not that I would on a 4 gig server, is about £10 a month. So it's around $50. So I am going to open it up to any questions that people have, but the actual recorded part of it that we're going to put live is going to end here. So thanks very much for attending. Please complete the little email that comes out asking how good it was. We want the feedback, especially as that was my first one. And you keep an eye on the website and on the schedule, and we'll post some more. So thanks very much.